Hello and welcome. I'm going for a quick video today. It's another Battle of 16 round 1 problem. So as a reminder, that's a 10-minute challenge. I'm going to show you how you can get most of the way through it in about 2 minutes if you make liberal use of dynamic arrays. So the idea here is you're a scorekeeper at a running tournament. There are 100 runners running a 10-kilometer race around a 1-kilometer track, so they each go around 10 times, but because of social distancing, they're all starting at different times. They all finish at different times. So what you have here is a table of the runners and the time that they pass the start/finish line. And basically each runner, if they finish the race, will have 11 entries in here for when they started and then when they finished each of the 10 laps. Not everybody finishes every lap and so on. So the idea is you have to rank the runners from 1 to 100. First, if somebody doesn't finish everything, then whoever finishes the most laps is ahead, and then among people who finish the whole race or who finish the same number of laps, it's sorted by time. And then there's a few other questions about who had the fastest lap won, how many did the full distance in less than 40 minutes, who had the fastest lap, how many racers withdrew, and what was the maximum number of people running simultaneously on the track. So like I said, I'm going to show you how to get sort of most of the way there very quickly, and then we'll kind of circle back around to some of these ones that method isn't able to answer. So having said that, I'm going to sort of start the timer in my head in just a second. So first thing is you'll see that the time is in this weird format, 18H0M0S. So let's start my head timer now, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find H space and replace it with colon. Do that for all of them. And then I'm going to find M space and replace that with colon, do that for all of them. And lastly, do the same thing, replace S with blank, and that will turn it into a time format that Excel recognizes: hours, colon, minutes, colon, seconds. So then I'm going to get my list of runners. I'm going to work out, only 2 N's in runners, how many laps they did, and the total time. So for runners, I'm just going to say unique of the list of runners, which should give me 100. Yes, that gives me 100 runners. And then laps, it's just going to be countifs, that same list of runners, where it's this, -1 because everybody starts and then has n more times for n more laps. And then the time, I'm just going to take the time they finished, so maxifs of the time, where the runner is this runner, and then so that's their finishing time, and then I'm going to subtract from that their starting time, which is basically the same thing except change the max to a min. Copy that format down, and then we just need to sort that. So we're going to say sort first by the number of laps completed descending, then by the total time ascending, so it's going to be 2, 3, and then -1, 1. And that's it. I'll put on the format because I'm pedantic that way, and then drop in a sorted list of runners. And so that gets me, 800 I think of the marks, and then there's a couple of others you can do quickly from this one. So how many have done the full distance? That's just going to be countifs. So full distance means laps is 10, and in less than 40 minutes. Easiest way is to just put that in the text just like that. So there's 9 people who did that, and then the other one you can do from this format is how many runners withdrew from the race, countifs. And it's just where that is less than 10. And so if you do that, you get 800 marks for the 100 correct ranks, and then another 40 marks for those 2 questions. So you get to 880 out of the 1,000 in, like I said, about 2 minutes. I wasn't actually timing just there. Then the other 3, you'd have to take a slightly different approach to be able to answer these. So let's just kind of circle back a little more slowly to those 2. So we're interested in who had the fastest lap won and who had the fastest overall lap time. So basically to get to that, I'm going to start with the same thing as I had before, so my unique list of runners, but this time I'm going to get each of their lap times by lap. So I'll get the start time and then the lap time. So for each of the 10 laps. So the start time is just going to be minifs, just like I did before. So the min of the time, where, press the wrong button, of the time, lock that in, where the runner that in, is this person. And hash. Again, we'll format that. And then the lap times, I'm going to want to say equals. So I want to start from the bottom, so I'm going to say small. So small is like the generalized version of min. Then I'm going to say if the runner here equals this, then the times, otherwise quotes, and then the rank that I want to take. So small 1 gives you the smallest element, small 2 gives you the second smallest, and so on. So what I want here is this with a lock in the column and then put a hash, which reminds me that I need to lock in the row there, lock in the column over here. Actually, sorry, I don't need to do either of those because I'm not copying it down because it's a dynamic array. I haven't quite got used to this idea yet, but it's pretty cool. And then, so it's that plus 1. So in other words, the time at the end of the first lap will be your second time, the time at the end of the second lap will be your third time, and so on up to 10 is your 11th time. I've got that wrong. What's going wrong? If you equal that, give me that, otherwise, small, maybe. All right. Well, not totally sure what's going on there, but it's probably because I've done dynamic arrays wrong in some way or another. Like I said, still getting used to that, so I'm just going to undynamic array that. And just do it a regular way. Copy across and down, and you'll see there's some num errors. That's where the person didn't run that number of laps, so I'll just wrap that in an if error to make those blank. And then the last thing, these give me all the finishing times. What I actually want is how long the lap took. So I'm going to take that and then subtract the sum of all the times that came before back to that fixed first column. That'll give me lap times. So then I can pretty quickly check if I'm interested in who got the fastest first lap. It's 3:24 in 3 minutes and 24 seconds. That's, I guess, deliberate. And then I can find here. You can't see my little min thing down at the bottom. Yeah, I'll shrink it so you can see it. So my min is 2 minutes and 49 seconds. But let's be proper and fill in formulas to find out who actually got those times. So which runner had the fastest lap one time? Because the runners are just numbers, I'm just going to do a sum ifs. Sum of the runner number, where the first lap time is the smallest first lap time. And that should give me 3:24, which it does. And then I'm going to do basically the same thing here, except I can't do a sum ifs, because so what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to say where the lap time is the smallest of the 10 by 100 range that I want from here. So for that I'm going to need a dynamic array, and the way to do that is sum if, and so here's my array of lap times. If that is equal to the min of that, then give me the runner number, otherwise nothing. And add that up, that gives me 933. Let's just very quickly check if that's behaving the way it's supposed to. So I can just look at that. Like I said before, it's 2 minutes 49 seconds. So then if I filter to runner 933, I should hopefully find, oh yeah, there it is on lap number, whatever lap number that was. That person did a 2 minute 49 second lap. And now the last one is just totally different from all the others. Maximum number of people simultaneously running on the track. So the way I would do that one is like this. So I'm going to have who's starting, who's finishing, and how many people are running. So start is just going to be equals, if this is the first time that runner has appeared, then they're starting. So count the range above it for this runner, and we lock in the first row, so it always counts from the top. So if that is equal to 0, then I have someone starting. Otherwise, I don't have someone starting. And then similar thing for finishing. Put it back over here. except that now I don't want to count all the laps before, I want to count all the laps after. So in other words, if this is the last time that person appears, again, I'll include that last bottom one there just so it doesn't throw an error on the last row. Lock in the last row. If that's equal to 0, then they're finishing. So obviously nobody at the start should be finishing, and down at the end, everybody's finishing. And then how many people are running? It's just going to be sum of that plus this equals true minus this equals true. And I'll just format that as a general. And then I'm just going to say equals max of that. And that gives me 57. So just a quick explanation of what's going on here. First, why do I do sum of that rather than just that? The answer is so that I don't have to have a different formula for the first row where the thing above it is text. So the sum of the text returns 0. And for everything after that, it's just the same as pointing to the cell. And then this equals true minus that equals true. Actually, sorry, I didn't even need to write that equals true because it's already a true or false. So I could really just have written plus that minus that and the format back. And it'll do the same thing. The idea is basically when you use trues and falses in addition and subtraction in Excel, it says, okay, you obviously mean to treat these as numbers, so we'll treat true as 1 and false as 0. So I'm just start off with 0 people running, add 1 whenever somebody starts, subtract 1 whenever somebody finishes. And obviously if you think about it, the only times that you could have the greatest number of people running are in between the time when one person starts and the time when another person stops. So when you do this, just for every start-finish time, you'll definitely find the time that has the most, and then you just take the max. That's all I've got for today. For those of you who have been watching my videos from the start, I know the sound has been very painful. I can tell you I have ordered a microphone. It will be here on time for my next one, so hopefully that woe is about to be behind me. Thanks for watching.